Mudras. 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 Hand gestures, movements, symbols that we make with our hands and the positioning of our fingers. Um, there's so many. It comes from Hinduism, but it's probably much older than that. Um, it's found in modern Buddhism. It's found in Jainism. It's found in the Middle East. It's found in Africa. It's found everywhere. And like literally any, just about any configuration of your hands that you can think of is probably a mudra. It's crazy. Like this is Shakti in Hinduism, which is like female essence, female embodiment, female spirit. There's a lot. And you've probably seen these lately if you watch the Marvel films. You've seen Doctor Strange, who is Benedict Cumberbatch, and Wanda, aka the Scarlet Witch, who is played by Elizabeth Olsen, do this a lot. Do that a lot. Do that a lot. And those are mudras. And they're not inherently for magical purpose necessarily. They're for like yoga, and they are for meditation. And there is some thought too in Eastern Asia that it's almost like pressure points, where if you're doing it for a certain amount of time, pressing on the palm in certain places, that you are bringing about some kind of health change to yourself. And like I said, I think there's like 399 mudras, which is crazy. My journey with mudras is that it's something I started doing at a very young age when I was just a little baby magician. I was a comic book freak as a kid. I still am. I read comic books every week when they come out. But I love comics, and so I was seeing these drawings all the time in comics of characters like Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, Dr. Fate, doing hand movements like this all the time to cast some kind of spell. And that's mostly thanks to an artist known as Jack Kirby. And Steve Ditko. But it's fascinating, and it looked cool as a kid, to see them doing this. And I never knew what that was. But of course, we learned like this is I love you in sign language, right? We learned that this is like the devil, and so is this, like rock on, like. But these are all mudras. So anyway, I came into it through that vehicle, and I remember trying to do magic. I was doing magic as a teenager, as I said, when I was a little baby magician, and I would do that like instinctively while I was doing things. Like I would be sitting there quietly, like meditating, trying to find out what my power animal was, and I remember like seriously just sitting there like this, like just. Like just doing that. But it felt powerful and it felt strong, so I just kept doing it. And it wasn't until around my late junior year, senior year of high school that I got into Hinduism and learning about that. And that's when I learned that this was a thing, and that there were these mudras that had been recorded down. And I also learned a little bit about palmistry, which I infused with mudras. And I learned sign language around this time. Like just the alphabet itself is, these are mudras, like all day. Like, come on. But I kind of infused all that together to create kind of my own mudras, or my own hand movements for magic. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still largely instinctual when I cast a spell, like what hand movements I'm doing and the positions of them. However, there are some that I have learned to, like, give me results that I want. And it looks crazy from afar. Like, I'm sure if you were, like, peeking in on me, like, at my altar, candles lit, just like doing something. It looked like I'm like voguing. But which itself can be a mudra. But yeah. I think it's important to know where things came from, especially if you're going to implement them in your practice, and I think we can all agree on that. So you owe it to yourself to look into where mudras come from. But another thing I found interesting when I was looking into palmistry and mudras specifically was like the meaning behind individual fingers. Let's see. So this was water. This finger channels earth. This infamous finger channels space, cosmic energy. This is air. And this is fire. And I accept that. I really like that. The meaning for each of those fingers to channel those energies. Air. Anyway, so I loved that. And for me, when I'm casting certain spells and I decide to use my mudras or not, like I said, sometimes it's instinctive and I go back later and try to figure out what I was doing. And it turned out to match perfectly with the spell I was casting. But I'm sure we all have moments like that. But for me, when I'm casting something, I'll think about what elements I want to invoke. Excuse me, got the hiccups. In certain spells. And so, say that I am trying to manifest love in my life. Then I would probably bring down my fire finger for passion and love and lust, but also water for like emotional connection to this person. And then I would keep those down and fire. I don't know why I did air. But anyway, I would bring those down and bind them together, right? And cast a spell as such, right? So I'd cast my spell like this, or meditate like this, or use it however I wish. But yeah, it's like for me, this is my own personal thing. Bringing the fingers down that you want to utilize binds those energies for that spell, right? Just something to think about. But yeah, mudras. I just wanted to bring it up because as I filmed this, I just watched the series finale of WandaVision, and she's doing this like the whole episode, and it made me think of it again because every time I watch anything Marvel or read the comics, I'm like, man, I need to talk about this because it's something that I do. So yeah, mudras. You should go look them up. But there's so much information on it, it's like overwhelming. So just pick a website and follow that because, I mean, seriously, there's like so much out there. But yes, I think that incorporating palmistry, and American Sign Language into your practice with mudras can be so powerful. So again, like we said, like if I'm manifesting love, so I would do like this, and like maybe I would do it on one hand, let's say, like the receptive hand for me, and then maybe I have a certain person that I want to manifest, and it's the letter J. So I'll do this, water and fire bound together, and a J, like rotate it over it or rotate it under it. You know what I mean? And that is helping me cast my spell, right? So just interesting little tidbit for you there. A rabbit hole for you to fall down. Mudras, go check them out. They're so fascinating. And fun to do. Like, it adds funness to your magic. And I think it helps preoccupy the body while the mind is working. You know what I mean? So while you're, like, casting the spell, you don't have to think about it. You can just be down here, like, Narutoing it up. Narutoing it up. That's an anime reference. Anyway, I'm gonna go. We're starting to get crazy. I haven't eaten today. Goodbye.